Welcome, friends, family, and our loyal subscribers to another episode of Opinions Mostly.
Opinions mostly.
I'm your host, Joe Spollert. No, I'm just kidding. I'm your host, Nicholas the Shark Herbst, baby. Let's go. And sitting directly in front of me is the one and only Joe Spollert.
You're more of a dolphin than a shark.
Baby dolphin.
Damn nickname. I'm tired of it already.
Joe, first of all, before we get onto those Dolphins that you're already picking on, I just want to introduce you to my biggest fan.
Oh, did you that on OnlyFans?
I spent all morning trying to think of that funny joke. All right.
Did you buy that fan on OnlyFans?
No, stupid.
Ah!
No. Okay, we're getting out of hand and wild. Anyways, let's move on here to our first subject, the Dolphins. Obviously, you know what happened Thursday night. Tua, he is that guy, but the Dolphins is not that organization. Why don't you speak a little to that, Joe? How do you feel about that whole thing that went down?
I feel exactly the same way you feel, Nick. Disgusted.
You're damn right.
Okay, first off, it's funny. As soon as Tua went down last week, like with that where he's wobbling off the field and stuff.
Yes.
It was amazing to see how many people appeared on the internet that appear to be neurologists. They all of a sudden seem to be a specialist in that area.
Well, duh, you've seen it once on like a movie. You obviously know everything. That's without saying.
Well, I think we talked about this earlier, or week one or something. Dolphins, they look like they're going to be a wild card contender for sure. They ain't win the division with Buffalo, and how good AFC is. I mean, I think Miami is right there in the. I don't know if you recall. I mean, they're right there. I mean, Teddy Two Gloves. He almost had the chance to, drive them on that final drive. I think it was to tie it, if I remember. So, I mean, they were able to do that with Tua down. When Tua go down, like I think second quarter or something like that too.
Yeah,
so,
early. Yeah.
I think Miami's still good. I think they are.
I love Miami. I mean, I dated this girl in high school, and actually, it was 8th grade. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Her dad was a huge Dolphins fan, and I think he kind of won a spot in my heart. He gave me one of my first beers. So I'm a huge supporter of the Dolphins, and I love Tua. I think Tua is going to be great. I think he is great. I really am upset that he got that hurt again. There's something wrong there. I don't know what the NFL is doing with this whole investigation thing or whatever, but someone's being a little fishy on the Dolphins.
Well, you saw the Dolphins fired, or the NFLPA fired their independent neurologist doctor. I guess he skipped certain steps or protocols last week. And then I saw this ESPN notification that said that there's like a joint statement from the NFL and the Players Association. So it appears they actually are on the same side for this. But yeah, once again, this is people overreacting, people forming their own opinions, and NFL trying to move on to the next topic or headline.
Well, also, did you see though how during the halftime show at Amazon Prime they didn't say anything about his previous thing, his previous concussion?
Well, I think Ryan Fitzmagic, either he did during halftime or he did leading up to the game. He was texting Tua and throughout the week, and because you remember,
but they didn't talk about it. They didn't talk about it during the halftime show to pull attention to it. So it's a little shady. I don't know. Anyways, let's move on from the sea to the sky. Fly, Eagles, fly. How are we feeling about that?
Shit, they look fucking good, don't they?
Yeah,
looks like they got their shit figured out almost.
I hate to admit it. Because I don't like the Eagles at all.
I don't either, but I'm rooting for Jalen Hurts though, because everyone has been counting them out. Even in college, they kind of counted them out too. Even though
I mean, that's probably because everyone sees something in him that's not right. His mechanics are a little off. I don't know how they're doing it.
I was watching some random sports segment. They were talking about how this was like years in the making in terms of they've built up their line. They've had a solid defense. They've had Miles Sanders for 3 years or whatever, Boston Scott. They hired their coach last year, and he was able to grow with Jalen Hurts to figure out a good meeting point of where both minds are on the same page with the offense and the playbook. So it's not like something that happened overnight, like with Miami, where they hired their new head coach from the Niners and then they got Tyreek Hill. It sounds like the Eagles has kind of been years in the making, a little bit per se.
Okay. So a long-term project that's finally
It's
reached.
finally reaping the benefits. Yeah. This week they're playing the Jaguars. It'll be a fun game. The line is 6.5 Philly. They're at home, especially with the way the Jaguars played last week, blowing the brakes off the Chargers.
Yeah, what do you think's gonna? Who you got? Who you got in this game? First of all,
that game I'm taking the Eagles for sure. I think the Jaguars just had a hot game last week. I just think maybe Jaguars aren't there yet. They're going to be a feel-good story for this year, especially with how shitty they played under Urban Meyer. And
would you take the Jaguars with the points if you're a betting man?
I would. But yeah? I'm picking the Eagles to win.
So you're saying a close game, but Eagles. Okay. I really have no opinion on this game because I could care less. I'm not a Trevor Lawrence fan at all. Whatever.
Yeah, but the morning slot's kind of boring. That's kind of one of the highlights.
It is. Yeah. This week is kind of a lull in the NFL for
like week 1
morning games. Yeah, it's just a repeat of that. Repeat offender. Okay, so real quick, Colts. Obviously, they've always been a pretty solid team. Last year, they looked really great, and now they suck. Do you think this is because of Matt Ryan? Do you think Matt Ryan's the problem? Remember how terrible he is on the Falcons?
I'm gonna go one step further on this. I think it's the head coach.
Oh, okay. So we got a coach change.
Nick Wright, right? What is it here?
But hold on. Go ahead. You can look that up. Real quick. Just want to note, for the 6th straight season, Indianapolis hasn't had the same starting quarterback in week 1 as it did the year before.
So Frank Wright, he came from the Eagles, the Super Bowl winning Eagles, when Big Dick Nick Foles won it and beat the Patriots and Tom Brady in that epic Super Bowl game. That was a nice game. Mm-hmm. So Nick Wright, is it Nick or Frank Wright? Frank Wright, he got coached from the Eagles. He was the offensive coordinator of the Eagles that season, and he was the offensive coordinator for like 3 years. And then he got poached and got taken over to Indianapolis after what's his name? The head coach of the Broncos. The Raiders.
Gruden?
Nope.
What are you talking about? I'm totally missing everything.
Remember when Josh McDaniels was supposed to be the head coach of the Colts, and then he backed out at the 11th hour when the owner of the Patriots told him to come back, and he could basically have Bill Belichick's job when he retires. So Frank Wright got hired. Frank Wright's he had Jacoby. Well, he had Andy. I think he had Andrew Luck for a year. Then he had Jacoby Brissett. Then he had Phillip Rivers. Then he had Carson Wentz. And then he's on to quarterback number 5 or 6. The stigma with the Colts is they were only one quarterback away from being legitimate title contenders, right? Defense was good. Offense was good. Running game was good. Offensive line was good. Defense was very solid. And he's gone through quarterback after quarterback after quarterback. He was supposed to be the Carson Wentz whisperer last year. Remember that whole stigma? That fucking backfailed. Now we're on to Matt Ryan, who was kind of just melting away in Atlanta, but still putting up numbers. And then he comes to the ideal situation, and they're still stinking. I think this is a bigger indictment on the head coach than maybe the quarterback.
I don't want to say you're wrong, but I think it's kind of funny. There's something to be said about Carson Wentz and Matt Ryan. Every team they go to, the team loses.
This is Matt Ryan's second team he's ever gone to, though.
They'll get so close, and then they'll lose. I know, but that's what I'm saying. He's not that guy. He's not that guy. He can't seal the deal. He's like he's the guy that takes the girl on the date, spends all the money on her or whatever, and at the end of the night, she's like, okay, have a nice night.
Matt Ryan won an MVP.
So what? They gave okay.
Matt Ryan went to the Super Bowl.
The MVP thing is a joke. The MVP thing is a joke. If you really look at it, there's people that were better than Aaron Rodgers. Okay,
yeah, Aaron Donald's right. Thank you.
And he still got the MVP, right? So you see what I'm saying? Yeah,
I know. Cooper Kupp gets the Super Bowl MVP when it should have been Aaron Donald who made the last play last.
Okay, get off Aaron Donald right now. That's not the point I'm trying to make. I'm trying to make is
a
better option
all the time.
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh, Joe, what am I gonna do with you, bro?
Anyways, I think there's something to be said with with Frank Wright as the coach at the Colts.
You know what? You might be onto something. Viewers, subscribers, let us know in the comments. What do you think it is? What do you think the problem is with the Colts? Do you think it's the coaching, or do you think that it's the quarterback? What's going on here? Give us your opinion, please, because I really don't know. At this point,
the Colts play the Titans this week, so we'll see if they can string some wins together.
I don't think they're going to.
Indy's the favorite by 4.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Titans need a win, and today's the day.
Both those teams need a win for sure.
Yeah, but let's just move on. I don't want to talk about the Colts no more. Anyways, AFC West. How are we feeling about that? Chiefs 2-1, Broncos 2-1, Chargers 1-2, Raiders 0-3. First of all, Raiders. Finally, those fans just shut the hell up. I love it. Who you got? Who you got finishing this week on top?
Raiders first team since 1959 Lions to start the season 0-3.
Oh gosh, that's a fact entirely. Jesus.
Well, this will be a fun game this afternoon. Broncos at the Raiders. Vegas is favored by 2.5. Both those teams need to win. Obviously, the Raiders need to win. Otherwise, Devontae Adams is going to try and find his way back to Green Bay and say, "Hey, like try to make amends with Aaron Rodgers."
Yeah, I know. Running with his tail between his legs.
Right? Yeah, it's like, hey.
I don't know why if you're breaking records last year, you're just going to be like, oh, you know what? Me and Derek Carr are like best friends. Oh, bro, what are you thinking? Okay, don't even get me started.
In my opinions mostly.
Yeah.
I think he was just tired of the selfishness from Aaron Rodgers with the contract talks, not feeling appreciated, constant, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like if Aaron Rodgers were to hypothetically retire after last season, now Devontae's there stuck just treading in fucking terrible waters in a rebuild when he's in his prime. I think that's played a little bit factor into it.
Yeah, but he still chose to jump into the ocean with a guy that is unreliable, with a team that's unreliable, with
that's fair. I'll
lost
give you
the head coach.
I'm not taking away anything you said, and you made very good facts there. Facts mostly. But no, I hear you. But he's a California guy. He grew up in the Bay Area. I think he grew up a Raider fan too. So there's a little bit of that, going on. Derek Carr, him went to school at Fresno State. So I mean,
I want to be remembered as the receiver that broke the record and had a back-to-back breaking the record season. Not a guy that broke the record and is like, "Hey, peace out, see you later."
Okay,
I'm going to some other guy.
In between your ears, and then say that again.
Put who what now?
Remove the cheese in between your ears and come out with a objective opinion here.
We're the greatest organization in the whole entire world. All right.
I think the Chiefs are going to come out on top. Somehow okay. So the Chiefs are playing the Bucks Sunday Night Football. Tampa's the favorite by 1. Don't know how the fuck they came up with that, but whatever.
I think it's because Godwin's coming back, and so is Mike Evans. Like, oh, look at this.
Right. I think the Chiefs are going to come out 3-1. I think the Broncos win on the road. I think Russell Wilson, they're going to let him cook in Vegas.
I agree.
And then the Chargers play the Texans. The Chargers should be able to win this game. Chargers look a little alarming to me. They lost their offense. They lost one of their offensive linemen, of course, and Herbert is probably still a little shaky with the ribs. But I don't know.
If you lose to the Texans,
I'm not going to say no. I don't have them losing to the Texans, but if they don't blow the brakes off the Texans and they don't win like the Jaguars did last week, like 35-10, I think there's maybe some issues in Charger land.
Yeah, I agree. That'll be a good game to pay attention to, just to see how
if the Chargers get back on the tracks here, just being the dominant team they're supposed to be on paper.
I think that they will, because otherwise there's no excuse, No,
just like with the Raiders, there's no excuse. Offensive minded coach. You got a 1-2 pack with Devontae Adams and Derek Carr, and you got Waller and Jacob. I mean, they have all the pieces, man. Just the Raiders, Raiders can't put their shit together, unfortunately.
Yeah, they're their own worst enemy, and I'm pretty sure it all stems back to the Raiders fans.
Oh my god.
Anyways, moving on.
Aaron, you better fuck this guy up next time you see him.
Aaron doesn't even watch our podcast. He hates us. A good game, great game today. Something to definitely watch. Everyone better watch this game. The Bills and the Ravens. I mean, Can't ask. That's the only great game of today. Like, well, okay, Tampa Bay
The
Chiefs
morning
are
slot.
fine,
The morning
but
slot.
yeah, there you go. That's the way to put it. So Bills versus Ravens. Joe, which quarterback you got today?
Bills at the Ravens. Buffalo, the favorite by 3 on the road. I'm taking Josh Allen. You'll be hard pressed to tell me otherwise, Nick.
I think you're right. There's a little bit of a weather issue going on, but my opinion, quarterbacks know how to throw in the rain or the snow or whatever, the wind. It's something that's part of their job description. I think it's going to be a shootout game still, and I got Josh Allen. I got my boy Josh Allen. Everyone's so hard on Lamar, and he's just not the style of quarterback I appreciate and like to watch. You know, people are like, oh yeah, scrambling, running, blah blah blah. Michael Vick. Everyone's like, Michael Vick. Well, he was a dog fighter, so we can keep going back to that kind of stuff. Like, just not my style of football. All right, it's just not.
You
my
do
style.
realize that Josh Allen plays that style sometimes, right?
I know he does. He's a hard runner. He doesn't even slide. He runs and gets tackled. He wants to hit. He wants to get hit. I get it.
Could
I
be
get it.
down the
But
road.
he's not Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson runs around. Josh Allen just runs forward.
You said it's gonna be a shootout. The over under is only 50.
Oh, I mean, that's high scoring lately in the NFL. Like there's over unders right now. They're like 40, 42. So that's a big game. Okay, so we both agree on that. That's easy to do. Bills versus Ravens. Who do you think's going farther out of those two this year? Who do you think's?
Oh,
Go ahead.
we discussed this already. The Bills are winning the championship. Right?
I just want to make sure that you're still on that same page.
Oh yeah, I still
Okay.
have the same energy. They'll meet the Rams.
So
they'll have like 7 sacks, but the Bills will win somehow.
So let me put a hypothetical here. Hypothetical. I know what you said. I'm just ignoring you because of that. If you switch, if you took right now and you switch the same teams and everything, except you switch the quarterbacks. You put Lamar Jackson on the Bills and then Josh Allen on the Ravens. Who you got then?
I probably still take the Bills.
You still take the Bills. So you're saying that the Bills are the team.
The Bills are built from top to bottom, just great. All assets of the team: offense, defense, running, wide receiver, coaching, defense, edge rushing. Von Miller. I think the Bills are just built. Lamar Jackson. He would do just fine with the Bills in their system. They would find a way to get him going on the move, RPOs, the whole
yeah. Shit. Okay, they're very similar quarterbacks. Like I said, just Josh Allen has such a better arm, I think, than Lamar Jackson.
And I don't think the Ravens really have
wide receiver core.
Yeah, I mean they got that one guy, but that's it. And then they lost Hollywood Brown in the offseason. Hollywood Brown said he wanted to leave because it's a run first offense with Lamar Jackson. So because of that, the wide receiver room is a little bit depleted just because of the style of play. So I mean, if you're just to literally switch him right now, mid-season trade, straight up quarterback for quarterback, and without adding any other players, yeah, the Bills are still built better in my opinion. And you'll be hard to the otherwise, Shark.
You're damn right on that. That's one thing we can totally agree on. I agree 100% with that. That's a great statement.
Agreeing mostly.
We should just change the name of this thing to just mostly.
We'll just change it the whole. I'm gonna say change it weekly.
All right, Mr. Joe. Let's do our facts entirely. Our facts entirely
segment.
Thank you. There it is. What you got for us today?
Shark, we got a great one this week. I was doing some digging in the record books here. And to all my fellow Chicago brethren, well, not my fellow ones, but to all the Chicago Bear fans out there, you might just want to end this fucking clip right now. The Chicago Bears have never had a 4,000-yard passer. Ever. And what, they're the second oldest fucking
ever.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The Bears, the Bears started 1919, the year after y'all, right?
We were 1919.
Okay, so they started in 1920 because their NFL had their centennial in 2020, and that's when. Anyway, their closest one was Jay Cutler. Like 3 times he got to 3,000 yards, but never surpassed it. Especially
remember how great Cutler was too.
I remember South Park did a segment where like when he was still on the Broncos and Stan and Kyle go to see this like VIP party and Jay Cutler was there. He's like, "Oh, Jay Cutler, I seen you on TV. Like, yeah, my dad says you might be good someday."
That's pretty damn accurate. So
I think he was an average quarterback though, right? He wasn't too bad, but he
I
threw a lot
mean,
of picks.
he was like Kirk Cousins except worse. Like
There
hot
you
and
go.
cold, hot and cold, hot and cold.
There you go. Yeah, very hot and cold.
It must have been the Northwood. See, only certain quarterbacks can play in the North like
I
that.
hope Katy Perry doesn't ask us to get royalties on that comment.
Because yeah, hot damn young cold.
Oh, yes, senor.
All right, let's stop singing.
Justin
That leads
Fields,
us right into Justin Fields, bro. Justin
Justin Fields is
Fields.
not going to get him to 4,000 yards.
Yeah, no way.
Not right now, at least.
No way. So the trend continues. The trend continues. They're just gonna be trash for the next what? How many years is that? Almost over 100 years. I mean, 100 and whatever years. What do you think about so if you put let's do another hypothetical. I like these hypotheticals. We need to come up with a segment for hypotheticals. If you took Aaron Rodgers and put him on the Bears, okay, what would happen?
Are you talking about another just straight up quarterback swap, Justin Fields to the Packers?
I'm not concerned about no. I'm not concerned about the Packers. I'm just saying next year for some reason, all of a sudden, Aaron Rodgers goes to the Bears. What do you think happens with the Bears season?
Well, I think the Bears would obviously benefit. But here's my thing. If Aaron Rodgers somehow just picked up and went to Chicago and pulled a Brett Favre, going to your arch enemy.
Right. As long as it's not the Vikings, in my opinion, because the Bears suck anyways. So
I think, well, here's the thing is I think with the star power of Aaron Rodgers, I think he would kind of pull a Tom Brady or like a LeBron James where he'd pull people to Chicago. People would want to go to Chicago to play with Aaron Rodgers the same way people went to Tampa Bay to play with Tom Brady. I think, and then like same thing with every time LeBron James picks up and moves from one team to another, stars will take a minimum contract just to go play with him to win a championship. So I think there's a chance that something like that would happen with potential free agents, trade assets, or initiating trades and stuff. So
yeah,
I think the Bears would make the wild card at the bare minimum. Maybe win the division. I think it's for sure, but yeah. I think Aaron Rodgers would definitely pull some people with him to Chicago. And then you think about Chicago being just a bigger city than Green Bay, so it'd be a little bit easier to sway and pull people to Chicago than maybe to the Falcons.
Obviously, that's never going to happen, and if it does, wow! But it's not going to. What would be so funny and ironic?
I own you.
is exactly that. Yes, exactly that. He would literally own them, and Devontae Adams would probably come back. All right. Enough making fun of those silly Raiders. We're gonna close up here pretty soon. I got one thing that I like to go over. We're gonna do it on the money segment because I like to bet. I like to bet and win. I got a 4-leg parlay today. Here's what I'm doing: Los Angeles Chargers -5.5. They should cover that against the Texans. We already talked about that. Perfect.
And win.
Well, of course they better win. They have to win by 5.5. No.
Just for your the betting noobs out there.
Second, I got Derrick Henry scoring a touchdown anytime during the game. That should be pretty. I'm hoping solid. It's him and JT. I picked him over JT only because I think Derrick Henry today is going to have a big running game. He's going to be pumping his legs. And as long as he gets his legs moving, that guy can tear things up. He needs a big game. You don't hear about it. You don't hear about him so much. You haven't yet, let me say, in these first 4 weeks. Thirdly, I got Green Bay Packers winning. I only took the money line because they're giving up 9.5, 10 points. The problem is I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. And there's that whole thing about, what's his face, Mac Jones possibly not playing, but now they're optimistic. If he comes in, he could keep it kind of tight. And then last but not least, on the 4-leg parlay, Kansas City Chiefs, I'm taking them. They're giving up, or actually they're getting 1.5 points, I think, or a point. Yeah, 1 point.
Yeah.
Against Tampa Bay, I think the Chiefs are just going to win. They're giving that to Tampa Bay because Chris Godwin's back, and so is Mike Evans.
Mm-hmm.
But Brady's just not the same Brady. His whole thing with like his wife Giselle. I know he loves football more, but that's affecting him, and he just doesn't look right. He's just
Well, no,
off.
the Bucks just don't have the personnel that he had like last year or the year before either. They're just down a lot of people, and I think that's definitely affecting his ability.
Well, yes, of course. I just blame everything on the quarterbacks. That's all. That's
Because everyone does, you know.
That's why I'll be the quarterback guy, and you can just be the you know what I'm talking about guy. Anyways, I put $50 on this bet. This is a 4-leg parlay, so it should pay out $371 when I hit today.
Heyo!
Full disclosure, the bet was free because someone used my FanDuel code. I'm gonna put that in the links, that way you guys can also join, and I can get another free $50, and we can talk about it next week. Anyways, Joe, you got anything else to add about this week, week 4?
Rams are gonna win tomorrow night, baby. That's gonna be a fun game. The fucking 40-winers. Be a fun game. A lot of drama.
I want you,
Kyle Shanahan too, so we'll see.
I want the Rams to just destroy the Niners. Just destroy them. I want Aaron Donald to actually get like 6 sacks. Actually, no, I like Jimmy G. Don't hit him too hard. But I want him to just win. I hate the Niners. Screw the Niners.
It'll be fun. And then their offensive line isn't really as good as last year either, in my opinion. I don't think their offensive line's fully there. So
yeah, they're definitely broken down. They're like, once again, they're not the same.
Rams,
team.
yeah, Rams should be able to get some passing pressure, pass rush. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. There's a lot of teams that just aren't the same this year. All right, guys. So that being said, thanks for watching another episode, another installment of Opinions Mostly. Make sure you email us your questions at opinionsmostlypodcast@gmail.com. You can also leave comments in the YouTube section so we can answer them. Go ahead, throw some questions up, whatever. Say hi. Make sure you give us your opinion on this whole Colts. Is it the coaching or the quarterback that is making their team shit? And if you got anything else for us, here's Joe's phone number. I'm going to throw it up on the screen.
This guy.
Anyways, all right. Signing off. Y'all take care. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. We love you.